good news. Barbie is releasing a LeBron Ken Doll.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job. Sometimes with these figures, they do not translate.
The beard looks like nice and glistening.
Mm-hmm.
You know they filled his hair in.
Not Capella group performed "Man on the Lakers,"
I'm talking about the man on the Lakers.
which should be number 1 on the Billboard charts.
I'm Megan Gailey.
And I'm CJ Toledano.
We're stand-up comedians, we're married.
We're parents and we're huge sports fans.
Welcome to Co-Captains, a podcast that explores sports through a parenting POV.
Join us as we break down the family legacies
And cute babies.
that define the culture of modern sports. Welcome to another episode of Co-Captains, joined by my wife, Megan Gailey. We got some hot off the press news. I don't think we've ever opened an episode where something just happened.
Yeah. I mean, by the time this comes out, it will have
Been talked about to
already.
death? No. It'll be fine.
But Michael Malone, Nuggets head coach, and GM Calvin Booth. Calvin Booth sounds like an 1800s presidential candidate.
But now he is
Get in the booth and choose Calvin Booth.
unemployed basketball GM.
There's 5 games left.
That's why it's like, and this happened
and
with
they're in 4th.
what other I'm trying to think, and everyone's like, it's so late. Oh, Taylor Jenkins.
Yeah.
And the first question everyone said was, did something happen? Did something happen here? The Nuggets are 4th
Good.
place,
Very good.
5 games left.
Won a championship less than 2 years ago. He's been the coach for 10 years.
Yeah.
I think something must have happened.
And the Nuggets
Side
did
of
release they released a statement just saying that they are trying to operate at championship standards, which again, like, Mike Malone didn't get you guys, but coached a championship
Yes.
team. They were in 2nd place from the majority of this season. It's just wild, and I'm trying to figure it out.
Like averaging over 30.
Yeah.
There have been some injuries. I know he scored like 30 in the first half the other day, and then the Pacers still beat them. So, but like that.
Well, that's really the only sign that something is pretty wrong with the team. But again, they're on a 4-game losing streak. It just, again, like, that's something that you figure out in the off season. Like, you're still in 4th place, and you're heading into the playoffs. Like, records change or like are reset once you hit the playoffs.
It's very strange. I think maybe something happened with one of Joker's horses.
You think one of his horses was like, he's not treating you right?
He not right, or like they found some hidden footage of Michael Malone like not giving one of the horses a carrot.
Yeah.
But I would like there to be some drama, because if there's not drama, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And then at first when it was being reported, it was just Michael Malone. Obviously, that's the big headline. But the GM too. It's like, what are you gonna? You're gonna find a new GM with 5 games left? Like, there's nothing
No,
a new
just
GM
not going to be an
can
acting.
do.
There's just not going to be an acting GM, which I guess, there's no moves to be made right now going into the playoffs. But yeah, that literally just happened. So
As a
I'm sure
Lakers fan, it's got to make you. I mean, this is the thing.
the whole West is packed.
The West is chaotic already. We are on the cusp of the playoffs. My Pacers are looking very solid in the 4th spot.
Yep.
That's probably where they're going to wind up. They're a few games ahead. Obviously, Cleveland has run away with it. Everything in the East is kind of, there may be slight reshuffling, but it's pretty much where it's going to be. And then the West from, I believe, 2 to 6 is like a game or 2 apart.
Yeah. I think that the Rockets have built a healthy lead at 2, but yeah, it is jam-packed. And I don't think this is going to happen, but like the Lakers, Nuggets, or whatever, if they were to lose a bunch of games in a row, they could find themselves in the play-in.
Because that tight.
And so again, like, does that play into like the Nuggets, whatever? Like, I don't know. It's still just super drastic. But yeah, it's jam-packed.
And remind me, first round is 5 games.
No.
It's 7.
7 games, yeah.
I'm so tired already. It's just like, I don't know that we need that.
No, we definitely need it. More
All
basketball.
right. I know,
Yeah.
but then they take such long breaks.
Well, in the beginning, they go every other.
I know. But it is like we're on the cusp of the playoffs, and it's like early April.
we definitely should just get to the playoffs.
We're
I think everyone
months
is
away from knowing the champion.
But I personally like that because in the same way that we celebrate, with one shining moment in the March Madness, you look back and like, dang, what a journey to get there.
Of course, but then like you look at what the Celtics did last playoffs and they just swept everyone. So it was like now we're just taking days off waiting because they're sweeping everybody. And
I don't think that's going to be the case this year.
No, I don't think so either. But last year I was like, TikTok, we got pools to go to. Where would you? I sort of know who I would like the Pacers to play. We were talking to a Cavs friend this weekend. He said, I don't want to see the Celtics and I don't want to see the Pacers. I think the Pacers having that deep run last year gives them a little, experience. I congratulations to the Detroit Pistons. It's an incredible turnaround from what they did last year to this year. One of the greatest sports turnarounds in just one calendar year. Congrats to them. I would probably like to see them.
Interesting.
We'll probably face the Bucks without Dame. And that's, we faced the Bucks last year in the first round without Giannis. So it's like a depleted Bucks. Your stance is you got to face everybody if you're going to win. So who would you, if you could
Probably the
choose?
Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies.
Yeah. You're gonna, like, in any round, you're gonna face someone you don't want to face. Like, to me, losing in the second round it's not that much different than losing in the first round, in my opinion. So it's like, the potential is Grizzlies, Warriors, or Clippers, or is there anyone else that they could potentially? Oh, Timberwolves.
This does tie back to my point earlier. Losing in the first round as opposed to the second round, it is like 3 weeks of your life back where you could be with us.
I'm still going to be watching playoff basketball. So, as a Lakers fan, we're pretty good. Like, we weren't even supposed to, like, that's the thing about this is, like, with Luka, the whole team's dynamic has changed. They've won a lot more than everyone thought they would be, that all of a sudden we're contenders, but, and so we'll potentially get better in the offseason. I'm fine.
You're fine.
But I watch every game. It's fun.
We're watching a man in real time go through emotions and me as well. Brian Windhorst, our favorite NBA insider. Where in the world is Brian Windhorst? He says,
What is that? What was that?
Because it's like where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, but it's Brian Windhorst.
Of course. I know the theme song.
Can I have a little
I just
fun?
didn't know if he was on the run.
No, but he's just everywhere. He's prolific.
He lives in Omaha, or he lives in Nebraska, which is interesting.
Why you got to blow up his spot like that?
Well, it's just interesting that that's where he lives, and then he just, he goes to New York or LA or whatever.
You think he's got an air tag on LeBron?
He's definitely got tabs on him.
He knows.
Who knows
where he is.
And I thought, for the record, that was messed up when LeBron called him weird.
Because he was like, he's my shadow.
They went to the same school together, and Windhorst was covering him, and then he's made this career. But it's like
They went to high school together.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure, but like he was covering him when he was a teenager, and like, yes, did Windhorst's career, does he owe some of that to LeBron? Sure, but like, I think LeBron should be so lucky to also be covered by Windhorst, who's like done nothing but like build, write positive things and like shed light on a lot of what LeBron has done.
Do you think that's why he moved to Nebraska? He was like, oh, I'll show you. I'll move to Nebraska then.
I think it's like Midwest, but I don't know.
He's like, I'm not even going to LA. Never stepping foot there. He has come out and said that the Suns don't want to trade KD. The Suns if the Pistons climbed the mountain, the Suns fell off of it. They just descend deeper and deeper. And you look at the roster and you go, all of this kind of should be working. And it just isn't.
Yeah.
KD basically as many teams as Russ at this point. Where does he even go?
That's the thing. That's why I feel like that's kind of just the Suns' stance is like, I think, what you can cash in on is KD having a nice farewell season there. And also just like stop chasing these super teams, which I think KD almost
invented.
LeBron invented it.
Okay, yes.
I think. But KD took it to a whole nother level.
Yes.
And KD was also shown that it doesn't quite work anymore.
No.
So
Which is good
Just
overall.
stay there and then, try to get a better roster around him and Book.
I have been anti-super team because I cheer for a city and a team that will never have a super team. Even though Halliburton desperately tries to recruit people constantly. They're like, we're good. So I think it is good to see something like the Thunder and go, yeah, you gotta do it kind of the old school way.
Yeah.
And so this will be his final season on the contract coming up. And then do you think he'll retire or do you think he'll go? He seems like he doesn't. He has no spouse, no children, no animals. What's he gonna do?
I think he's just gonna hoop. I think he's gonna do a little bit less of like strategizing. I want to go here, blah blah blah, and I think he's just gonna play basketball. Hopefully, I think that's my recommendation to him. But like, the news has come out, or like rumors have come out that the Suns are starting to treat Devin Booker, with a little bit of disdain. Or
Of course.
But it's like Booker also is an incredible player. Like, just figure out the roster around them.
I know, but I think that ship
Budenholzer this might be his first and last year with the Suns.
I think that ship has sailed, sadly. Sunk.
It's crazy.
Actually.
No, this coaching stuff is wild.
Yeah, when I was like, where are the Nuggets? They're in fourth place. The Pacers are in fourth place, and people want fourth place. People wanted Rick Carlisle fired throughout the season. You hear Pacers fans say that. I'm like, you're a moron. Like, tell me a better option out there than Rick Carlisle, who wants to come to Indianapolis and do with this team what he's done. I'll wait.
Yeah. I'm fine for teams to call for their coach to be fired if there was someone waiting in the wing that they would think is good for the situation.
But there's not.
But Carlisle was just kind of like perfect with that young team who needed.
He's amazing.
Just to like be chill.
Okay, good news. Barbie is releasing a LeBron Ken Doll.
Yeah.
It has like a little hat. It's got a fanny pack. He's wearing a Letterman jacket. It looks a lot like him.
Yep. We call that a cross-body bag. No, I'm just kidding.
Cross-body fanny. And my fanny's so big it is now across my body. And it is going to retail for, any guesses?
$75.
Okay, well, I guess you read the same article as me.
Well,
And
I was like, should we get this?
well, it comes out April 23rd, 2 days before our son's birthday, just in time.
He will not be getting this because he already has a LeBron doll.
He does. Now, will you be getting this?
The old me, but the new me, who is seeing the fall of an economy around us, will not be getting it. But
Okay.
Why do I know the price? Because I was like, should we add this to the collection?
I want to know where that doll is made because that doll may be tariffed.
It's gonna be $400.
I don't know that Barbie is made in the USA, and I don't know that they're gonna be able to remedy that. By April 23rd, it is like the first of they're releasing sort of like a series of
celebrities.
Yeah, and men that fall under like the Ken universe.
Yeah.
So he is like the first Ken doll.
I think it's cool. I thought they did a great job. Sometimes with these figures, they do not translate. Bobbleheads,
it looks like
toys.
him.
It looks like him. The accessories are great. He's rocking a pair of like Nike Terminators.
Yeah. The shirt on the back or his Letterman jacket on the back says "Just a kid from Cleveland."
That's cool.
The beard,
Akron or Cleveland?
Oh, Akron.
Yep. Shout out Akron. I love Akron.
I know you love Akron. The beard looks like nice and glistening. They filled his hair in. They gave him a nice.
Does the hat come off?
The hat will come off. Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, all those things are accessories, which is probably why it's $75. That's like you're getting like a hat, a crossbody bag, some pants, I'm assuming, a t-shirt, shoes. There's a watch. That's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff for
a kid to chew on.
To scatter all over the living room floor.
Or for a dad to obsess over.
Yeah. But yeah, it's cool. Shout out to LeBron. I'd be loving those LeBron songs.
Oh, yeah.
Man on the Lakers.
I'm talking about the man on the Lakers, LeBron.
You saw like a cappella group.
An a cappella group performed Man on the Lakers, which should be number 1 on the Billboard charts. Michael Jackson's song parody. It's great. I love this. We've hot taked ourselves into forming a cappella groups to sing parody songs about LeBron.
Which are like obviously we're watching them ironically, but then when you look at it, you go, I'm happy for these guys.
Yeah.
Like, these guys found a community where they're being nonviolent.
Yeah.
They're hanging out with other men. They're expressing themselves. This is actually incredible. More a cappella groups.
What song would you cover to sing about LeBron? Like, what's a pop song out there that you would be like?
Dochi's Anxiety.
I feel like that's been done already, actually.
Because when I
Bronxiety.
when I know there's a Lakers game about to start in our house, I feel anxiety because of the mood swings.
The mood does not swing. Anyways,
Okay.
let's talk quickly about March Madness. I lost. Tough break for old Siege.
Tough. You became a really intense Duke fan because
Telling everyone, Duke fan since I was a baby.
Yep.
Because I had them in a pick'em situation where I would have won $1,200.
and you go all in.
Yeah.
You know, because like you're used to becoming a fan overnight. And so you're able to go
The hell?
0 to 100 and like you were locked in. Like you heard me trying to make plans after
You're trying to make
daycare and you were like, tomorrow is the Final Four. I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know you. Like, I went to like a basketball school. I've been to a Final Four. I barely watched it, but you were locked.
Was Purdue ever trying to give you $1,200 if they
No,
won?
they're
Yeah.
trying to take. They're still trying to take $1,200
Yeah.
from me, and I said no.
But
Call Neil Armstrong.
the Duke game was terrible. Duke, Houston. I mean, and again, we don't need. Everyone's talking about
the
or has already
Auburn
talked
Florida
about
game
this.
was exactly the same.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's just like we saw it. I felt it. I told you 8 minutes left. I was like, they're milking the clock a little bit too much. The new guys came in looking scared. That inbound was horrendous, and I knew it was gone. The spread, I wasn't even worried about the spread. I was like, this is just disastrous.
It mirrored a lot of the national championship game too, where Houston was up big. I'm gonna deem this the national championship that no one wanted to win.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was like up big and then was like, what? And maybe that's just what happens when there's 4 ones, where it's like, you know, they're as good as you.
Yeah.
And you are scared instead of being like, we're gonna put away this Cinderella once and for all.
Yeah, and I've always wondered why there's 2 halves in college basketball, men's college basketball, and I sort of sensed it does make these comebacks a little bit more possible. Like, there is no like hard stop, like let's regroup or whatever. Like, the coaches have to call those timeouts and play that right. Like, I sort of saw that in play a little bit, where teams were up big at halftime or like, you know, early in the second half, but the momentum will just swing drastically.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. I mean, I was like, the college game, especially in the Final Four and those later rounds, it can be a big factor.
Yeah, Florida wins. Heartbreaking for Houston, who had just done sort of the heartbreaking thing to Duke. So it's kind of, but it is. I felt zero emotional attachment at all. I was the one bit of like personal joy is that Kelvin Sampson was like run out of IU, and so whenever I get to laugh at IU basketball, that makes me feel good. So when someone leaves there and then goes on to have success, but I felt nothing. Like, Florida has won before, and that was like the Joakim Noah teams, and those were
back to back.
so fun.
Yeah.
This, I don't know these dudes.
They got Walter Clayton Jr., who people are comparing to Steph, and I still don't know if that's just like a valid comparison, but yeah, I do feel bad for Kelvin Sampson. Like, they were showing clips from their practices, and they do like these like hustle drills or like dive for the ball drills, and it's just like he is one of the last few old school coaches. Because like, you look at Florida, you look at Duke, all these young dudes.
Young.
Yeah.
I think the Florida coach was the youngest coach to ever
Florida,
win. New generation. The analytics coaches have now come. On a much, to me, personal higher note, UConn wins the women's title.
Destroyed South Carolina.
So I had picked South Carolina and UConn to be in the finals. My women's bracket, I did like exceptionally well.
Okay.
I was victorious in my other podcast bracket. You came in just behind me. You and I were 1 and 2
Dang.
on the podium. Now, for the men's bracket, there were about 9 brackets in it. Conrad came in dead last.
There were people asking for an update on Conrad's mascot.
Last
bracket,
place.
last place.
But we love him.
He's two.
We love him, and he hasn't asked.
Yeah.
So other people are asking. He has not asked for an update. Even when we were watching the national championship game, he said, "Why you turn off the Lakers game?"
Yeah.
So he's not fully. He sees basketball and he thinks it's the Lakers. So Paige Bueckers declares for the WNBA draft.
Yeah, she rules.
Then wins this moment of her and Gino. You talk about one of the last old school. Like, I know people got a lot of opinions about Gino. He's even one of those guys that I go, on the surface, I love him. I can't even go much deeper. Watching them embrace and knowing what she's been through, you cannot write a better ending to her NCAA career. She has been through so much adversity, has handled it with such humor, grace, has continued to be front facing and at things and tweeting I'm going to be late at stuff. I think has still really embraced her celebrity, and then has spoken so beautifully about feeling as though Kobe was there and Gigi was there. She said her mom stayed in hotel room 824. Both of Kobe's numbers. She lost a friend this year. She said she felt her presence there. And it's just wow, this athlete, this young person deserves this. And I know Juju is watching and going, I got a tough road ahead of me, but Paige just did it. And it was beautiful to watch.
Yeah. No, I don't. I can't find. There's not a single person I know who would ever hate Paige.
No.
Came back, just has endured a lot.
I'm sure there are. But we're good.
Yeah, we're good. But again, she's going to WNBA. Her, Caitlin,
they're lucky to have
it's
her.
It's insane.
Yes,
the talent over there.
I did see a really cute clip of Gino putting the net on his granddaughter, who has the little baby pigtails. I love baby pigtails so much. I had just watched a video before that about a dad seeing his daughter in pigtails for the first time. Big pigtail content day.
I had no idea.
South Carolina won last year. Obviously, heartbreaking for them. These schools will all continue to be powerhouses. And Juju will be back, and the WNBA is getting a fresh batch of really incredible stars. Yeah. So it's a win for all the gals. Okay, so we are going to play a game called Which is Which. We have the top 5 teams in each conference, Eastern, Western, and we are going to decide which kids' movie we believe they are.
Okay.
For example, I'll go first. My Pacers. I've been thinking about this long and hard. So producer Max provided us with a great list. I'm actually going off list for my Pacers.
Wow.
I believe the Pacers are the Little Rascals because it's a group. And yes, there's stars on it, but any day someone will step up and they'll have a funny little thing to do. And I think of this Pacers team as young and genuinely friends, loves to hang out together, loves to pull hijinks. Maybe they annoy other people, but they're right in the end, and they're always working for good.
Wow.
I was so proud of myself. I looked at you take that.
All right, so it's my turn. I'm going to go with the Celtics. The Celtics are, to me, cheaper by the dozen because it's just a bunch of annoying little kids running around, all-star cast.
Yeah.
But they're just giving Steve Martin and what's her name, Bonnie Hunt, a hell of a time.
What's her name? Legendary Bonnie Hunt.
Well, there's a couple cheaper by the dozen remakes, but we're not here to talk about the cheaper by the dozen franchise. We're talking about basketball. So that's my pick.
Okay. Next up, because of this latest news, the Denver Nuggets, I'm going to make Inside Out. Seems like there's some emotions that are being bottled up. What is it? We don't know. Stuff is going on inside of that organization that we can't see and we can't hear, but people are pulling some levers. There might be some sadness. There might be some anxiety. There might be some joy, but they're going to need to get it all together if they want a sequel.
Yeah.
Get it?
Get
because they won
Get it?
one, and then there was a sequel to the movie, and maybe they'll get another championship. It was a stretch.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna go. The Knicks are the Sandlot. That's a bunch of buddies who love playing that sport. So yeah, easy. You know, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, and Mikal Bridges. Yeah, they're friends, and they love playing the game. So
Okay.
Sandlot.
In that same vein, and this is like the highest compliment I could pay to the Cavs, I'm making them Despicable Me 3. Because when they just remind me of the Minions. When I see them, I'm like, who's that? I like him. I don't really even like know them that much. Donovan Mitchell, we'll call him Gru, I guess. And then the rest of them are running around being like, banana. And I go, I like those guys. I'm rooting for them.
Okay, I had a Minions one too, but I'll go. Let's see. I'll go OKC. OKC is the Goonies. I think they are a bunch of younger guys who all came together. They weren't drafted all to the Thunder, but they were compiled together to get that treasure. And I think being the number one team in the league, like they have the best chance at getting that. So and in the Goonies, they end up getting that treasure, I think. Or no, I forget how that ends. But
I think they get it.
Yeah, I would say the Thunder are the Goonies.
Okay, you're not going to like this one. I'm going to say the Lakers are Spy Kids because they just have everyone and everything working for them. So, like, they always know what's going on because they're in Los Angeles. So it's like they feel like they're in, like, the best city. And so they get to, like, deem whatever. I think the league is spying for them. I think the organization is spying for them. I think LeBron is spying for them. LeBron, like, he has an agency, and then this agency reps all of these different players that are in the league. That's spying. And I love Spy Kids as a movie, but that's where I'm putting them.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to go. You didn't do Houston yet, right?
No.
I'm going to go Houston is.
Do they have a big man?
Yeah, Alperen Sengun.
Oh, of course.
I guess I'm going to go. Houston is Home Alone. And I'm going to say Ime Udoka is Harry or Marv.
I thought you were going to say it was Kevin.
No, Kevin is definitely Jalen Green. Yeah, maybe the old man, the big man is Mr. Marley across the street, and so it's Alperen Sengun.
Okay, I'm going to say the Bucks are the Incredibles because Giannis and the dad in the Incredibles have the same body, like identical. And that's actually as far as my analogy goes.
Okay, what do we have one more?
So we have we forgot the Clippers. We didn't. We just didn't do that.
Oh no, the Clippers. They're like the Mighty Ducks. They start off at like the District 5. They weren't the Hawks, the popular team in town.
Yeah.
And they never were the number one team in the town, but they banded together and they're an underdog. But they're still pretty good.
That is so nice of you. That's one of your favorite movies, and you gave it to the Clippers.
Don't like the Clippers still.
I know you don't. So that's like really sweet.
Yeah.
Now I know I sort of like hijacked the Lakers for you and said they're Spy Kids. Is there a team that you wish that you could say they were?
Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, now you need to say who is the beauty and who is the beast.
JJ Redick is the beauty.
Oh.
And Austin Reeves is the beast.
Okay. And then who's LeBron?
No, Luka's the beast.
Okay. Then,
LeBron is the candlestick guy.
And then who's Gaston?
Gaston is like the human that is like
Gaston's
the
like
original
no
Crusher?
one. He's who wants to marry Belle. Maybe he's probably Rob Pelinka.
Yeah. It seems like you really were like your math is mathing in this game. I was like, well, is that crazy? But we did it. Is all the teams?
Yep.
All right. Which is which?
We left out Moana. We left out
we
some
didn't leave
great
out Moana.
ones.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch. I was like, dang, there's a lot in here. And then there's like Jaws in here for
and
some reason.
Shrek.
Wait, there's another one that's like National Treasure's in there. I'm not showing Conrad National Treasure for like 10 years. But yeah, okay. That is that of which is which. All right, now it is time to play touchdown or turnover. Everyone loved our bracket full of toddler behavior, so this is another toddler game. So what's going to happen in this game is I'm going to read a scenario.
And then I'll tell you how I would parent in that moment, and then you judge my parenting.
Whether it's a touchdown or a turnover.
Yes, and I'm going to read some scenarios for you, too.
Okay.
And already these scenarios are scaring me.
All right, do you want to go first?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
So this is this is what would you do? Conrad becomes obsessed with trying to stick things in the electrical outlets. After repeated directions not to, you find him reaching for an outlet with a fork. What's the play?
You immediately take the fork out and you tell him that is bad.
Yeah.
And it could cause you great danger. And also sort of walk him through why he'd want to do that. But we just don't do that. And then I immediately just put a thing over the electrical outlet because he is a kid. He has a tiny brain.
Yeah.
Like, can't even present him with the opportunity.
So, like, that's a touchdown, but it's also, we shouldn't be in that situation in the first place. All of the outlets should be covered because they do want to put everything in it. And, like, I get it. There's a hole, you want to stick something in it. So you got to cover them. You got, like, this is... It's like the 28-3. It's like you shouldn't have the Falcons never should have been in that situation. You got to play to win, not play to lose.
Yep.
Or not play to whatever.
So touchdown or turnover?
Touchdown, but I'm upset we're in that we won the game, but like by the skin of our teeth, and we're not gonna have Monday practice off. We will be practicing.
Dang. All right, Coach Meg. All right, second scenario. Excuse me. Conrad is having one of those days where he says no to everything. He won't get dressed. He won't use the potty. He's throwing things. He just wants to be difficult. What's the play?
I'm so bad at this. I think you just have to do like a hard reset where it's like, okay, let's go outside. You don't want shoes on? Fine. We'll go outside. What do you want to do? And then, and just try and like, will him into laughing. I mean, the thing is, that's probably not right, but
yeah,
you got to do like a boom. Also, maybe just be like, okay, you're going for a nap then.
Yeah, in my playbook, I mean, yes, I think that's a fine approach. In my playbook, you know what I'm like, I'm not taking no for an answer. He's a little guy. He's gonna get dressed. He's gonna go potty. We're not doing nothing else.
Yeah, and
so I'm gonna say a turnover.
Okay,
but yeah, it's different parenting.
7 months pregnant, and I don't have the energy to be fighting with a toddler who doesn't like. It's like, okay, you don't want to get dressed? Fine. I don't even want to get you dressed.
Yeah.
I don't want to be dressed. I'm tired. I agree. So go outside naked. Let's all go outside naked.
Yeah, we always just say like, all right, go ahead, do whatever you want, but you barely know how to use your thumbs. So have fun doing it.
Okay. Conrad becomes obsessed with drawing on everything. One night he's supposed to be sleeping. He draws a mural on his bedroom wall. What's the play? I mean, mural is being very generous.
He's not the greatest artist.
No, he's not a bad artist. He's two. So it's just like scribbles. I mean, it looks like True Detective.
I actually thought about this last night because I saw a TikTok of a kid who did that. And I remember I used to do that as a kid. And I'm in shock that Conrad doesn't actually do that.
Because he's a good boy.
Yeah, and I am prepared for that moment to happen. And I actually am not going to think it's that big of a deal.
When he draws on the wall?
Yeah, so like, I'm just going to be like, dude, what? Like, we do not do that. Give me your markers go on your paper, dog. And so, yeah, that's it. But I'm also not going to spend an entire day or an entire week being mad about it.
Okay, that's a turnover because he can't draw on the wall.
Yeah.
I think what we would need to do is go remove everything he could draw on the wall in his room with and then go, do you feel like you really need to be able to draw on the wall in your room? If that's a urge you can't resist, then we will paint an area of the wall, the chalkboard paint, and then you can draw on your wall. And if it goes off the chalkboard paint, we're going to break your fingers.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's a touchdown.
Wait, you forgot to give me a touchdown or turnover. Oh no, you said it was a turnover, and then I pleaded my case and blamed it on being pregnant. Okay,
Yeah.
classic.
Do we win as parents, you think?
I think we win as parents because we get to be on a team together and we get to have Conrad as our son.
Yeah. It is definitely like the parenting approach.
It's like you just yeah.
No, just gonna give us some credit. Like it's case by case scenario, and it also is how are you in that moment. So
I'm the pushover.
yeah.
CJ is the firm.
And the reason why is because I've been I don't know, I just remember all those moments where I was bad as a kid, and I'm like, you got it nip it in the butt now.
And I don't have any moments where I was bad. So I'm a player's coach. I'm like a Lovey Smith. Like I'm like, let's all be friends. Let's have fun. And you're like a Tom Coughlin screamer.
I'm JJ Redick to your Darvin Ham.
Because you're the beauty and I'm the beast.
All right, well, that's been an episode of Co-Captains. Anything you want to promote?
I'll be at the Cosmo in Las Vegas opening for Chelsea Handler on April 18th. And then if you're in and around the Los Angeles area, I'll be filming a special. Details to come May 10th and 11th. That is Mother's Day weekend.
Very special.
No better way to pay homage to your mom and me as a mom than coming to see me film my special. Do you have anything you would like to plug?
Follow through. Check us out. Making a lot of great sports stuff out there, and this is a follow through production. So
if someone Venmos CJ $75, he can get the LeBron Ken Doll.
Yeah, and I'll unbox it.
And then my dad will make fun of him forever.
Yes. So we'll have to say it's a gift. That's been Co-Captains.
Thank
See you guys later. Peace.